A colonel asked for her call sign. She said Phantom 7. The room went silent. The past woke up. A broken watch ticked once. An empty wallet opened. A dusty road pointed home. And the only person who could kill her already knew her name. The briefing room hums. Projector, fluorescent buzz. Coffee going cold. Elizabeth stands near the back, still, hands at her sides. She lets the noise pass through her. She watches without staring. She listens without seeming to hear. Colonel Harlan takes the podium. His voice has gravel in it. He talks logistics. He talks doctrine. He talks about the shape of a week that hasn't arrived yet. He scans the room. He finds her. His words slow. The room feels it. You, he says. Name, rank, call sign. Chairs creak. Pens stop, heads turn. She could hide. She doesn't. Captain Elizabeth Hale, she says. Phantom 7. No one coughs. No one blinks. The colonel's mouth opens, then closes. He has stood under fire. He has watched men vanish in dust and sun. He has never done this. He freezes, whispers begin. Stitched rumors unspool. A story they were told not to tell takes its first breath in daylight. Elizabeth doesn't move. Her fingers brush the inside pocket of her blouse. A small thing sits there. A watch, its face cracked. Its hand stopped at 2:17. It presses into her like a question. On the desk nearest her lies a smart card, laminated and clean. Her name is on it, but the photo looks older. The photo looks like a person who slept. The colonel recovers, barely. Phantom 7 is a fable, he says. A morale trick. Fables don't bleed, she says. Something like a half-smile twitches at his mouth and dies. He gestures at the map behind him. A red grid overlays desert and coast. You're attached to joint readiness. You speak when I ask you to. You vanish when I say vanish. Are we clear? Clear, she says. He nods. He is the room again. Almost. He talks targets. He talks routes. He never looks away from her for long. Her pocket buzzes. A secure text appears. 4 words. No sender ID. We found it. Awake. Her breath shortens, then evens. She slides the phone away. The colonel finishes. Questions? A lieutenant raises a hand, then drops it. No one speaks. Elizabeth steps forward. Sir, she says, if you're moving a team into Sector Delta, you'll lose them in the gullies at night. They draw sound. They answer with echo. This your first day? He shoots back. I've been there. Yes, she says. You were there at dawn. He stares. He knows she's right. He pivots. He adjusts times on the whiteboard without saying she changed his plan. The watch presses harder against her. It feels heavier than metal. It feels like memory. The colonel catches her eye as the room empties. He doesn't come closer. Phantom 7, he says softly. He tastes the name like a coin. I thought you were dead. Not today, she says. His jaw works. He almost asks the question that would make everything easy. He doesn't. He is a careful man. He lets silence stand between them like a wall with a door he won't open. A sergeant pokes his head in. Sir, line 2 for you, ultra green. Harlan nods and picks up the phone. A voice on the other end is too calm. Confirm your guest, it says, and confirm you will deliver her to Bastion. What's Bastion? He asks. The line clicks. Dead. He turns, but she's gone from the doorway. Only a scuff marks the floor. Dust in a heel print. Outside, the wind kicks up. The base road is a long brown vein. It points west. It points home. It points somewhere she swore she'd never go. Her screen lights again. Same sender. 2 more words. Come alone. Elizabeth looks down the dusty road. She starts walking. She doesn't see the man in the parked truck lift a camera. He zooms. He whispers into a throat mic. Phantom 7 confirmed. Proceed to extraction. And under the truck, a magnet blinks red. Once. She grew up 3 turns off the highway where the road ran out of ambition and let the wind finish the work. A place of chain-link fences and ocotillo thorns. A place your mail reached when it felt like it. The pawn shop bell chimed low. Aunt May called it a warning more than a welcome. May could fix anything except the balances on her ledgers. The glass counter held rings with history and cameras that forgot how to focus. Behind it, a broken watch slept in a tray. 2:17 forever. Elizabeth liked the weight of it in her palm. She would wind it as a kid, hopeful and wrong. May would smile without her eyes and say, some things stop on purpose. She kept the watch when May died. She kept the empty wallet, too. May left it to her, a leather fold with nothing in it but an imprint of a photo long removed. The stitches were proud. The pockets were shallow. The message was loud. The dusty road outside the shop started her. The Corps finished her. She learned patience in the desert and speed in the alleys. She learned to watch for the twitch that comes before a trigger breaks. She learned to make a presence out of silence. The call sign found her after Ash Lantern. Not a day she spoke of. Not a shape she let her mind hold. 7 men pinned. 1 woman unseen. A radio that lied. A map that had omitted a ridge because cartographers sometimes show mercy. She carried 2 out. She counted 5 who did not move. She took off her name that night and put on a number someone else had whispered first. Phantom. 7. The colonel's text about Bastion burns through her pocket now. She follows the road past the motor pool out the west gate into town. The wind lifts grit and lays it down again like prayer beads. In a diner with a neon sign that says open but blinks. No more often than it should. She waits. She takes a booth with a view of both exits. She orders coffee. She puts the empty wallet on the table like a flag that means what it says. The bell on the door rings. He is older. His beard is gray in the way stress makes, not years. He sits without asking. He doesn't meet her eyes. He sets a folder down. Bastion, he says. Not my favorite word, she says. Not mine either, he says. She doesn't reach for the folder. He doesn't push it. The waitress refills their coffee. The steam smells like burnt earth and attempted kindness. Colonel Harlan froze, he says. You shook him. He'll recover, she says. He won't forgive you for not being a ghost, he says. Ghosts don't eat pie, she says. And the waitress sets a slice between them. He almost laughs. Then he doesn't. He taps the folder. This is off map. It was supposed to stay off map. Someone switched it back on. She opens it. The first page is a satellite photo. The desert is a bruise. The bruise has a grid. In the center, a building without a roof. In the basement, a room without a door. Data farm, she says. Or a tomb with a battery. Both, he says. You're on a list. The list is older than your commission. It's older than the stories with your name scraped out. She flips the page. A face stares up, dark hair. Scar across the mouth like a minus sign. She knows the eyes, my instructor, she says. Her voice doesn't move. Hale tactical signals. He taught me how to hear a lie in a silence. He's the target, the man says. He's the reason I'm alive, she says. Bastion wants him erased, he says. It wants you to do it. She sets the broken watch on the table. The crack catches the diner light. She turns the crown. The hands don't move. The waitress pretends not to watch. What does it buy if I say yes? She asks. A week where no one dies in a city you'll never visit, he says. And if I say no? A week where someone dies wearing your face, he says. He slides a small envelope to her. Inside, a micro SD card the size of a fingernail and just as human. She tucks it behind the lining of her empty wallet. The leather swallows it with a soft click. How many exits does Bastion have? She asks. None you'd like, he says. She sips coffee. The spoon shakes where it rests. The shake isn't fear. It's recognition. The road she swore not to take has found her again, and it remembers her tread. She stands. He stands. They don't touch. She slides the watch back into her pocket. She leaves cash on the table. The wallet stays lighter than sense. Outside, the sky is bruised purple. The day is closing its fist. She walks toward the desert. She leaves her shadow behind a moment too long, like it needs permission. In the alley behind the diner, the man calls someone whose number he memorized when he still believed in guarantees. She took it, he says. When does she move? The voice asks. She already started, he says. He steps back into the light. He squints against the last sun. He never sees the scope glint on the roof across the street. He never hears the shot that takes the air away. Elizabeth flinches at the sound, then freezes. Her phone buzzes again. 3 new words, you are next. She looks down. A red dot has appeared and is walking slowly up her chest like a question that plans to answer itself. She steps left. The dot pauses. She steps right. The dot follows. Whoever holds the rifle is not guessing. She moves behind a rusted delivery truck. The dot slides along the panel and disappears. She exhales. It's not relief. It's a measurement. On the ground near her boot is a shard of mirrored plastic. She picks it up. It's from a phone case or a life someone dropped when the day turned. She angles it around the truck's curve. The alley and its rooftop edges bloom in the small glass. She sees a vent. She sees a shadow. She sees the angle of a scope, not the face behind it. The broken watch presses into her wrist from her pocket. She tugs it out, twists the crown. The glass is cracked but reflective. She adds its small crescent to her mirror. Rooftop fire escape. The smallest flick of movement. She palms her phone and dials a number that never rings. It connects to a tone only a few people recognize. She lets it play into the alley. She moves her lips without sound. She draws the dot away from her chest to her shoulder, to the truck's hood, to the street beyond. The shot comes. Paint flakes. The hood sings. Heat lifts off metal like a ghost trying to stand. She darts for the stairwell door in the back of the next building. It is locked. Her empty wallet lives up to its name. It has no key, but the leather edge slides under the latch plate just enough to wedge. She leans. The wallet creaks like an old man who knows he's still got one more job. The door snicks open. She takes the stairs two at a time. She counts them without trying. She breathes through her teeth. Not panic, rhythm. On the landing she stops. Dust, footprints. One set up. One set down. The down set is fresher. The upset has a drag in the left foot. She files it. She reaches the roof. The scope is there, but the rifle is not. A pile of brass kisses the concrete at her feet. The shooter has moved. The wind pulls her hair across her cheek like a warning it doesn't want to be. She crouches behind a swamp cooler. The broken watch lies in her palm. 2017. She thinks of May counting change on a counter that never had enough coins for the next morning. She thinks of the dusty road outside the shop pointing everywhere and nowhere. A second dot appears on the swamp cooler. Then a third, triangulated. There is more than one rifle. Elizabeth lets her chest soften. She makes her body heavier. She imagines herself a sack of grain slumping against metal. She imagines letting gravity decide. She lets the image broadcast in the angles a sniper reads. She becomes a target worth stepping closer to finish. She takes the micro SD from the wallet lining. She slides it into her phone. A folder opens with a name that isn't supposed to exist. Bastion liaison lines of text scroll. Names, ranks, frequencies. The colonel's name is there with a small symbol that could mean loyalty or debt. Her instructor's name sits above it with a black bar through the middle. She finds an active channel. She opens the microphone. She doesn't speak. She just breathes. The app transmits her breath. Snipers hear breathing. They drink it. They move to it. Footsteps on gravel, soft, careful. Left foot drag. She smiles with no mouth. She lifts the broken watch and angles it. The cracked crescent throws a thin slice of light. It kisses a rifle barrel in shadow. The shooter flinches. That's all she needs. She rolls, draws, fires. The figure falls. The rifle clatters. The other two red dots stutter, then vanish. Backup retreats when the first card drops, predictable, human. She moves to the fallen shooter. The mask is standard. The vest is not. It carries a patch with a symbol she last saw in a brief she wasn't supposed to read. A square inside a circle. A door inside a room, Bastion. She pulls the mask. A face. Familiar. Not from the core. From Sunday afternoons at May's with the TV on mute and the captions trying to keep up. The diner waitress. The one who poured coffee like a priest pours wine. Why? Elizabeth asks. Orders, the woman says. Blood grits her mouth. The eyes are steady. You weren't supposed to take the card. You weren't supposed to open it, she coughs. You were supposed to stay a roomer. I ruined a lot of someone's grammar, Elizabeth says. The woman's smile is a split second of life. Then it's not. Elizabeth closes her eyes. She wipes her glove on her pants, then on concrete until it stops being red. Her phone chimes once. The colonel. Report, he says. 3 shooters, she says. 1 down. You need exfil, he says. I need answers, she says. You'll get them at the site, he says. What site? She asks. He gives coordinates. The desert grid in the folder. The room with no door. Are you with me? She asks. Silence for a long second. Then, yes. She almost believes him. She leaves the roof by a stairwell that smells like bleach and burnt toast. She doesn't look back at the body. Looking back builds statues to moments that don't deserve them. The sky has flattened to iron. The road out of town is dust on a string. She follows it past used car flags that never quit. past a church whose sign says God keeps time and under it says please don't. She stops at May's old lot. The shop is gone. The sign is stacked in the dirt like letters that lost their alphabet. She picks up a strip of brass from the ground. It used to be a bell pull. It is cool in her fingers. She slides it into the wallet's coin pocket. It clicks like truth. Headlights wash the lot. A truck pulls up. It's the colonel. He gets out alone. He leaves the engine running. You walked, he says. I usually do, she says. He looks like a man who slept in his uniform for 10 years and didn't complain once. He points at the passenger door. She doesn't move. Bastion called me, he says. They want you delivered. And you? She asks. I want my people alive, he says. Which people am I? She asks. His jaw sets. Get in. She does. The seat is warm. The air smells like oil and old paper. The broken watch ticks once in her pocket. But the hands do not move. He drives. The road unspools. The desert swallows the edges of the world. They pass a sign with no words left on it. They pass a fence that keeps nothing out. The colonel doesn't speak. He turns the radio low. The voice is static in command. She studies his hands on the wheel. Old scars. New scars layered on old. The kind of hands that learn and forget and learn again. The road dips. The truck's lights catch cinder block and sand. The grid from the photo waits in a valley that pretends it isn't one. Stay behind me, he says. Not my best skill, she says. He kills the engine. The quiet arrives like a held breath. They start down the slope. The ground gives. Dust climbs her boots. The night is wide. Her bones understand this place. The watch is a weight. The wallet is a promise. The road is a sentence missing its period. A door ahead yawns open to a room the map says isn't there. Elizabeth steps into the dark. The lights snap on. And her instructor is standing there, alive, with a pistol pointed at her throat. He hasn't aged where it matters. His eyes still catalog everything. His stance still says he will move right before you do. Captain, he says. His voice is dry sand. Or should I say the other thing? Don't, she says. The colonel lifts his hands a little. He is halfway between drawing and surrender, and neither suits him. Put the gun down, Harlan says. Put the truth up, the instructor says, eyes on Elizabeth. Bastion's line is open, Colonel. Choose your station. She watches the corners. No movement. No vents whispering. No shadows breathing wrong. It's just them. Of course it's not just them. She keeps her hands low. She keeps her voice lower. You taught me to break a room with questions, she says. So I'll start. Why am I on your list? Because you were built for it, he says. I built myself, she says. You had help, he says. We all do. The colonel's head tilts the way it does when someone steps beyond his map. Talk sense, he snaps. The instructor's smile is a scar that learned how to laugh and forgot. She is phantom because we told the world she was, he says. And then she became the thing we said to keep us from choking on our own fear. Elizabeth almost laughs. Almost. That's not an answer, she says. That's a sermon with missing pages. He gestures with the gun toward the back wall. A metal panel slides aside. A glass corridor bright as hospital teeth leads down. Walk, he says. Careful. Harlan glances at her. She nods. They move. The corridor expands into a hall with racks of servers like pews. The fans whisper a lullaby for machines. The floor is clean in a way that steals your shoes' noise. Fluorescent tubes hum overhead. The air tastes like pennies and plans. On the far wall is a window into a smaller room. Inside, a chair. Straps. A black helmet with a nest of cables. Not a chair. A promise. What is this? Harlan asks. Bastion, the instructor says. The real one. Not the word they give you in the brief. He sets the pistol on a desk. He steps into the small room. He moves like he is used to touching things that bite. He pats the chair's arm. Sit, Liz. No, she says. You always hated being called that, he says. Good. Hate keeps you awake. He points at the helmet. The first time we ran this, you were 22. You didn't remember afterward. That was the design. We wrote threads through your sleep and they woke when we pulled them. We needed a ghost. We made one. You were the seventh who lived. Her throat is a locked room. She swallows the key. I remember Ash Lantern, she says. You remember what you can keep and still stand, he says. You wear the rest like a shadow you don't see until noon. The colonel steps closer to the glass. The reflection gives him a second face, paler. You erased my marine, he says. I sharpened her, the instructor says. You just never saw the stone. Elizabeth looks down at her hands. The watch's crack seems deeper. The wallet in her pocket feels hot, as if the small brass bell pull learned to burn. Why now? She asks. Why wake it? Because someone is building what we built in a garage with better paint, he says. Because chaos scales faster than discipline. Because the name we made for you started to live on its own, and the only way to leash it is to tell the truth to the only person who can hold it. She stares at the chair. She sees straps, but she also sees weathered leather. She hears May's bell. She smells the pawn shop dust that settles and never apologizes. This is a choice then, she says. Yes, he says. Stay a rumor, or become the operator you already are and remember the price you paid. Harlan turns to her. He looks tired in a way that rank doesn't fix. You don't sit in that, he says. We torch this place and walk. My name is in those servers, she says. So we leave it buried, he says. It's not buried, the instructor says. It's harvest, a small sound. Not the server fans. Not the lights. A child.